Now, this came across my For You page the other day, and it's an understatement to say that I am disturbed. I do not understand how brands sometimes just insist on sexualizing children, and then they come back and they're like, why are you guys all upset? We don't get it. Fridababy is a company that makes products for new parents. They're most well known and really like rose to prominence with their quote snot sucker device, which don't worry, I will not go into detail about how that works in this video, but they also have bath care, they have cold and flu, they have oral care, they have gas release items, they have hygiene items. So they carry these lines of products for infants, but they also carry a line of products for the pregnancy stage and the breastfeeding stage. Recently, they've been under massive fire for their extremely inappropriate marketing campaigns. The backlash has been so much that Fridababy has deleted a ton of posts, they've turned off comments on all their social media, and they've been, for the most part, pretty quiet. They have responded, but in my opinion, they're mostly going with the wait till this blows over approach. But I don't know if they're going to be able to get away with that, because these campaigns have had sexual innuendos, but also butt jokes, threesome jokes, all with babies close by in the marketing. And one of their Instagram posts that I'm going to talk about later is quite literally the most disgusting and disturbing thing I have ever seen a company just publicly put out. We're going to be looking through these posts today and reacting to them, talking about them, watching some TikTok videos of what the moms think. We're going to read the statement that Fridababy has put out, and of course my opinion on this entire matter as well. But really quick, I want to take a moment to thank our recurring and one of my favorite sponsors of this channel, Love and Pies. The game that I don't shut up about. All my friends know that I'm obsessed with it, and it's kind of half of my personality at this point. Love and Pies is a mobile game that follows Amelia, our protagonist, as she's tasked with taking over her mother's cafe after it mysteriously burnt down. You get to rebuild the cafe from the ground up as you uncover the secrets behind the fire and get into the crazy hijinks with the eccentric cast of the small town of Appleton along the way. There's love stories, your high school sweetheart just appeared into your life, there's villains like Edwina, who's a complex character, and there will certainly be plot twists that you won't see coming. But the game itself is a blast. You merge items to create delicious treats to serve your customers so that you can earn coins that are needed to continue your cafe and your town makeover. I love customizing everything. For example, this is how I designed my little Appleton Town's jazz lounge / bar. Like, don't you want to hop in the game and hang out here? It's so relaxing. It's challenging enough to keep you engaged, don't get me wrong, but it's never, there's no like pressure. It's never like rush, do this, do that. There's always a bunch going on though. There's always really, really fun events with amazing prizes. Right now we have From Appleton with Love, their second ever sticker album event, celebrating all of the characters' big loves, puppy loves, family loves, throwbacks like Amelia and Joe at prom, dive into the characters' past, present, and future. This unlocks at level 16 and goes until March 5th. I'm actually almost done with my sticker albums because of course I am. And I just have one left. I just have one left down there, and I think I'm going to finish it probably today or tonight. And then you get huge rewards for finishing these. Download Love and Pies using my link. It'll be right below this video in the description, or you could scan the QR code on the screen right now. Play till day 3 in the next week and you'll get this amazing prize. You'll get 200 free energy and 50 free gems. Using my link really helps the channel, and I'm just so appreciative to Love and Pies for continuing to sponsor this channel because I'm playing it every day anyway, so it's so fun to get to share it with you all as well. Okay, let's get into the video. So I do have to give credit to this Twitter account, the Stace, say that 3 times fast, is the Twitter account that kind of blew this up on Twitter and has the most receipts because there's a lot of photos and photo proof of what they've been doing. So let's look at them together, shall we? So on February 12th, Stace posts, sexual jokes to market baby products is actually sick and twisted. Fridababy, this is absolutely appalling and disgusting. And this person posted a few photos of proof. So the first one that we have is a rectal thermometer for babies, which is fine. That is how we take a lot of babies' temperatures when they can't sit still for other ways, other methods, or if you don't have a forehead thermometer and you want the most accurate read, like that is normal. There's nothing wrong with that. But this is a post that is of course now deleted that has a drawing of a baby, of course, like it is a drawing, thankfully, of a baby, but they're like leaned back with their butt in the air, and the thermometer is obviously showing us where the thermometer is going to go. And the caption is what's really disturbing. The caption says, "This is the closest your husband's going to get to a threesome. Meet the new 3-in-1 True Temp Thermometer. The Swiss Army knife of temperature taking accuracy, blah, 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 blah." At the bottom, it also says, "We got options, rectal, underarm, or oral. So why are we focusing on the rectal one? Light for the end of the tunnel." Okay. "And parent-proof stopper, so you don't stick it in too far." Weird at the very least, but also like, I honestly don't get the joke. I don't get the joke. What do you mean? This is the closest your husband's going to get to a threesome? So other than the fact that it doesn't make sense, that's obviously a really inappropriate joke to be making about taking your baby's temperature. Huh? Very inappropriate. Okay. So the next one she posted was a picture of the Fridababy thermometers in the store. And on the side of the thermometer, on the packaging, it says, "How about a quickie?" That's the mark. How about a quickie? Again, huh? That doesn't actually, that's kind of stupid marketing, even if this wasn't inappropriate, because that doesn't really make a lot of sense. They're just trying to say that the thermometer works fast. Okay. Try to get a baby to sit still to take their temperature rectally. Like, I don't think that's going to be that quick, but okay. I know that they're just trying to say that the thermometer works quickly, but stupid marketing regardless of the inappropriateness. So something else that people found was the quick start guide for what I believe is a baby humidifier. And at the top, like, of the instructions, it says, "I get turned on easily." Again, weird, but also like, it's the culmination of everything that we're going to talk about today. And trust me, it gets so much worse than this. Like, I'm not pro clutching because of just this alone. Trust me. So this, like, in a vacuum would be fine, because I do understand that it's like, nobody's going to read this except the parents. So it's just kind of like a joke for a parent, but it seems to be their like theme. And then for their nose sucker, the side of the packaging, just like it said, "How about a quickie?" on the thermometer, the side of the packaging on the nose sucker thing says, "I'm a power sucker." That is so clearly a sexual innuendo, obviously. "I'm a power sucker." What? So that's kind of like one of the posts that started this whole thing. This looks like it reached 4.8 million people on Twitter. It has 11,000 retweets, 95,000 hearts. Let's look at some others. So here is picture of poop, which is not blurred out enough. I'll blur it out or / block it out a lot better. There's just pictures of poop in a diaper. Love that for us. And this says, "Top windy pro tips to tap that gas and sometimes even poop." But gas has parentheses around it and it's spelled GASS. So it's a play on tap that ass. I already know I'm going to get demonetized for this video, so whatever. I'm not censoring my words. I'm going to have to censor enough of the pictures. So it says, "Pro tips to tap that gas." And then under it, it says, "Massage it real good, lube that ish up, wear a poncho, thank us later, slide into our DMs with success photos, blur not necessary." Which again, I don't think it is, but in my opinion, that sounds like a little fetishy. That sounds a little weird to be like, "Send us your baby poop photos. Please don't censor them." Okay. This is where we're kind of starting to see a pattern here. And this is gross because this isn't just like a joke for the parents. This is making sexual innuendos about how to apply it to your baby. What were they going for here? I honestly don't know what this product is. I'm sure parents out there watching this will know, but it says, "It's getting hot in here." The caption says, "Hey mom, what is nightstand top drawer worthy, battery operated, and comes in clutch when things are," fire emoji, "hot and steamy?" Correctly guess our new product drop below, and 5 of you will get lucky tonight. This is a tweet from a long time ago that Fridababy deleted. Netflix on December 5th, 2019 said, what's something that you could say during sex, but also when you manage a brand Twitter account? Okay, that's fine. It's Netflix. That's not aimed towards children. But Fridababy feels the need to respond with this little number. And they say, put the red tip in your mouth and suck. Hashtag knows Frida. This was a post. Again, it looks like it's on Instagram from Fridababy. This says, threesome. Noun, when your toddler invades the bed and takes up 70% of the available space. And it's a cartoon picture of 2 parents, a dad and a mom with a baby in between them in bed. And they both look upset. Both the parents look upset. And the caption says, nothing like waking up with tiny feet in your face. And in spite of the fact that it's, yes, an inappropriate joke, it's just objectively not that funny. Like, this wouldn't make me go, ha ha ho, that's a knee slapper. It's just kind of like ridiculous anyway. So my only point in that is, like, it doesn't feel worth it to risk your entire reputation and your business for jokes like this. Okay, we're not done, but let's talk about the one that is so egregious that really, really fucked me up. And I'm going to censor a lot of this. I want to censor the baby's face as well as the disgusting thing because it's just gross. But this is the one that really made me go from maybe I'll make a video about this to I'm going to make a video about this because WTF. Okay, so this was on April 4th, 2020. Fridababy posted again. It looks like Instagram, and they posted a picture of a baby with, like, laying down, obviously, and it has a giant booger on its face, and it looks like something else. It does. It looks like something else, and you'd think, oh, well, maybe, maybe you're reading too much into it. Maybe you're being, pearl clutching and being sensitive. But the caption of this photo with a real baby in this photo says, what happens when you pull out too early? Somebody at Fridababy in 2020 typed that out, literally took this picture, typed that out and went period post and posted it for the world to see. This particular one, speechless. How did this get through the marketing team? How did people, I don't understand how I don't understand how that made the cut. That is just, like, so blatantly, even if they didn't, yeah, okay, let's keep going. Then there's this whole Frida breast milk ice cream thing. So somebody posted a picture of this, and yes, they did actually partner with an ice cream company, Fridababy did, and made a breast milk flavored ice cream. Of course, it doesn't have real breast milk in it. They partnered, I guess, with Oddfellows Ice Cream Co., and they created this limited edition breast milk flavored ice cream. They did it apparently for National Breastfeeding Month in August 2025. So it doesn't contain human breast milk, obviously, but it is supposed to mimic the taste of breast milk. It's supposed to taste kind of like breast milk and have a caramel honey flavor. Just in case you're curious, I'm not personally, but whatever. So some people were like, this is a fetish, like, this is so weird. That just seems like for a certain audience, which I don't know. I could also see them just trying to go viral and, like, pique curiosity with that. It's just that again, with everything else, is raising eyebrows. So here's another post. This was all the way back from 2008. So I think that this was on Twitter, and Fridababy said, Peekaboo Bear needs all 6 of those double A's. And it says, you're a good mom when you sacrifice your vibrator batteries for your kids' toys. So they've been doing this a while. This one from December 2nd, 2020. This one's pretty bad as well, just a warning. And I will, again, block the child's identity if you don't have kids or don't know. It's clearly supposed to be a joke on you can't go anywhere in the house when you have small children. And so, like, you sit on the toilet and they follow you into the bathroom and you can't get, like, a moment of privacy, which is a parenting joke, which is, from what I understand, very, very true. But they, like, did this where the kid's head was between this person's legs And it, as if they're sitting on the toilet and their kid's interrupting them. And this was on December 2nd, 2020. It says, "Yes, sweetie, sometimes I wish I could put you back up in there too," which is a little mean, but I'm not a mom, so I'm not going to judge moms if they have that thought every now and then. Like, they might, whatever. But again, like, who is this for? That picture is so, that picture's going to be for somebody else, not for just parents. It's just weird. The other one that a lot of people point out is that, like, the gas passer device, the one to help with gas and colic for your baby, has like a weird picture of a baby on the front too. It says tap that gas, and then the baby's also smiling and has its like legs spread and up. It's just odd. Another vibrator joke. This was from 2021. It says, "Meet the new electric nose Frida. It helps baby breathe and sleep. Now that gives mama more pleasure than any other battery powered operated device. Size matters. We've got the big mist energy," with the wet emojis. "We've been making it rain in nurseries for like ever, cough, cough, our OG humidifier. And now we're taking congestion relief in every room in your crib." But because it's a small humidifier, it says size matters in giant letters on the back. This one is also really weird. Another like parrot-proof stopper, like with the thermometer with the picture of the butt. It's just, why? This meme really, really just wraps up everything that I think we're all thinking. That it's just like, even if, like, ew. Then there's also this thing that the marketing team, they used to have a Meet the Team page on their website, which, surprise, they deleted it. It's gone. They also deleted like their awards page on their website. They are definitely scrubbing some stuff from the internet. And the marketing team seems to be made up, from what we do have from their Meet the Team page, made up of women who don't have kids. So that's kind of weird. And then also just men. So men and women that don't have kids, like not really the demographic that you're actually trying to go for. So really quick, I want to talk about the rumors about the CEO. The CEO is an important piece in all this. And I want to just clear up some stuff, because while I do think a lot of these criticisms are valid, there's like just blatant anti-Semitism also happening at the same time, and a lot of accusations about the files. So the CEO is a mom of four, Chelsea Hirschhorn. And yes, the CEO is Jewish. And a lot of people feel the need to point this out for some reason. And I saw a lot of anti-Semitic comments on both Twitter and TikTok, pretty much everywhere where you see this. Everybody's like, figures, basically, which is so unbelievably messed up to me. I am really confused how people are just being so blatantly, openly anti-Semitic. I guess I shouldn't be surprised when, Trump's president. If you are confused, here's my understanding of why people keep pointing this out. My understanding is that people, it's anti-Semitism, but it's also that people think that because Epstein was Jewish, but because Epstein was Jewish, and then they basically use confirmation bias to look at other bad people that have ended up also happen to be Jewish. And so because the CEO of this company is Jewish, people are acting like that's some sort of clue, that's some sort of like literally people going, oh, figures, like, oh, duh, well that explain, like, what? This isn't just like right-winged people saying this. I was going into some of the Twitter profiles of people who were saying this. Some people were openly liberal. Some people were openly on the right. There was one I saw that was like, I hate both sides. So it seemed to be on both sides of the political spectrum, from, again, anecdotally from what I saw on Twitter, of people saying heinous shit like this. And here's what I have to say about that. If she happened to not be Jewish, people would still be just as mad, and they'd probably find something else about her to latch on to. Saying that there's some sort of pattern of Jewish elite people being like part of these, basically accusing them of being like a big factor in the whole Pizzagate conspiracy. I saw a lot of people posting either memes or just typing out this phrase that I found called Everyberg, Singleston, and Timewits. So people will be writing that all over the comments or making little memes about it, and it's every single time, and those words changed into Jewish last names. Like, you guys know there's non-Jewish people in the files, right? Like, you do know that this is something that you are picking out perfect examples of to try to make a pattern where there's no pattern there. Like, Bill Clinton is not Jewish, right? Prince Andrew is not Jewish. Or, I don't know, President Donald Trump, not Jewish. And all three of them are in the files. I'm not accusing them of crimes, again, for legal purposes, in spite of what my own opinion is, but they are all in there and highly suspected of being very involved in this. And I do find it interesting that the right side of the political spectrum is very set on pretending like Trump is not involved in this. They're totally fine with it when it's elites that they like. And again, yes, I'm biased because I am a leftist, but every liberal I've talked to has been like, I don't care if you were a Democrat or a Republican. If you are in those files and accused of doing heinous things and there's actual proof in the files, throw the whole man away. Clinton? Fuck Clinton. I don't care that Clinton was a Democrat. He's a terrible person, in my opinion. Bill Gates, too. Again, allegedly, I don't know the full scope of what he's been accused of, but there seems to be stuff that he was at least hanging out with those people, allegedly. Yeah, I don't care. I don't give a shit that whether they're liberal or leftist or whatever, they're disgusting. Send them to jail. It just seems really, really, really hypocritical to me that the right side specifically act like it's only Democrats in these pedophile rings, when it's quite literally both. It doesn't seem to be a political thing from the files, It seems to be just a rich people thing. So I just don't understand how they don't see how hypocritical it is to defend Trump when there's so much evidence, so much accusations against him, but then the CEO of this company is Jewish and people are like, ugh, figures. Let's just be openly anti-Semitic and terrible. And I'm not defending Chelsea, the CEO, by the way. I think it's very strange that her company is putting this out, and I do not condone any of this. I think this is crazy, but I don't think her being Jewish has anything to do with it, and it is so harmful to try to make connections that aren't there. It's very conspiratorial, and grouping in an entire group of people into this when there's no direct evidence that it has anything to do with being Jewish. So then in other comments, I'm seeing a lot of people saying rumors, just people flippantly saying things like the CEO of Fridababy is in the files. Just flippantly saying that. And then when people ask, they want proof or they want where they got this information, the commenters like, Google it. This is where the CEO of Fridababy is in the files is coming from. And it's not Chelsea Hirschhorn. Chelsea Hirschhorn, there is no evidence that I could find that I know of that she is in the files. What people are taking is that SC Johnson acquired Fridababy in 2021. So technically, SC Johnson owns Fridababy, but SC Johnson owns like half of the big corporations in the world. So that doesn't surprise me at all. Chelsea Hirschhorn is still the CEO and founder of Fridababy. So here's a video of the connections that people are making. And we're going to talk about this because while some of this video is correct, some of it is not. And when you see comments circulating like this, it's just people attaching themselves to rumors and not bothering to verify them themselves, which could take 2 minutes of Googling.
For real, you're going to shit yourself. So Fridababy, and ignore that this is an AI overview. I looked into multiple sources. Yes, Fridababy was purchased by SC Johnson & Son in December of 2020. Curtis Johnson is the owner of Johnson & Son. Curtis Johnson is the owner of Johnson & Son. In March 2011, he wasn't only just accused, he was charged. This actually happened with... Yeah, it all makes sense.
Okay, so she's partially correct. Like we just went over, SC Johnson did acquire Fridababy to be under like their umbrella. Curtis is not the CEO of SC Johnson. And she doesn't say CEO. She's very careful to not say CEO. She says Curtis is the owner of SC Johnson. Curtis is not the CEO. Fisk, Curtis's brother, is the CEO of SC Johnson. Now, I'm sure he benefits from the company. They're both billionaires from being the heirs of the original Johnson. So I do understand that like he kind of owns it in the sense that he's in the same family and benefits a lot from his great grandfather's fortune, right? So the brother of the CEO of SC Johnson, yes, he was accused and did end up pleading guilty to assaulting his stepdaughter many times. But I don't see how this is relevant to Fridababy at all. What does this have to do with anything? He's not, his hands, his little grubby, disgusting hands are not in the SC Johnson company. I highly doubt he had anything to do with the marketing for Fridababy, let alone Fisk, the CEO of SC Johnson, has anything to do with the marketing. People are making connections that are not there. This is a reach. And then again, I also want to point out that Chelsea Hirschhorn also most likely had absolutely nothing to do with the marketing campaigns. I don't know if just all these Gen Z people that are talking about this have just never worked for a company before. Like, I don't know if they've just never worked at a company where there's a marketing team, but the CEO is not micromanaging the marketing team. You have the CEO at the very, very top. They are like overseeing, making all the huge decisions, yes, but there's very few times where the marketing team is going to go to the CEO and ask for approval on an Instagram post or a campaign. Maybe sometimes, but very rarely, right? So the marketing team has a marketing manager, or there's going to be some sort of marketing supervisor that's going to be doing that. The marketing team makes all the packaging, is going to design things, is going to, there's going to be a social media person, and they're going to go to their supervisor and say, hey, can you sign off on these? We're going to post these. And then the supervisor signs off on that. Now, I want to, again, be very clear. I am not defending Chelsea. I highly, highly doubt Chelsea has any direct hands on the marketing, any of this that came out. Is she still responsible for all this? Absolutely. It's her company. She's the CEO. She's the founder. She is responsible for any public-facing thing that comes out about the company, and she better not throw anybody under the bus and be like, I didn't know what they were doing, because she is absolutely responsible for knowing what is going on in her entire company. That is what happens when you sign up to be a CEO. You get to reap the benefits of being a CEO, so therefore anything bad that happens to the company after that is on you. That's just the way it works. Sorry. So yes, this is all her responsibility, but I don't think that this was necessarily her, like behind the scenes, people acting like she was like, let's sexualize all the children and brainwash people into thinking that they're sexual. I'm not saying this situation is not bad, but what I am saying is that people also stretch the truth a lot. The other thing that a lot of people are pointing out is that Chrissy Teigen, a lot of people just commenting, Chrissy Teigen owns part of this company. And that is also completely incorrect. Chrissy Teigen does not own this company. She doesn't even work like for Fridababy. She has collabed with them in the past. Yes, she has promoted some of their products. They made her like a breast pump that was like specific to her. She has promoted them in the past and collabed with them like as an influencer. And they were collaborating when Chrissy Teigen was still in good graces in the public eye. That was before she came out and apologized for all the things that she was accused in. We're not going to get into all of that, but this was from like this post from 2018. Like that was way before. So anyway, okay. So just wanted to mention that because I also see that going a lot online. Now, there's also the question of like, why are people just noticing this now when this has been going on for years with Fridababy? And the answer to that is that people just didn't really realize until people started talking about it. They just didn't notice. Some people I did see on Reddit and on various TikToks saying that they saw packaging, they found packaging from many years ago, and it wasn't like that. They switched it to like tap that gas, like to those sexual innuendos. They switched it in the last few years. So a lot of people who are ride or die for this brand didn't really realize or just weren't really paying attention. But also I want to point out that like the packaging, yes, is weird, but if you weren't on their social media, a lot of moms either don't have time for social media, or even if they are, they're not following every single brand at Target. They're not following every single item that they buy for their baby. They're not following them on Instagram and then looking through all their posts. So I could totally see how a lot of people were like, that's weird packaging, but then didn't go investigate further. Okay, let's watch a few TikToks from actual moms and their take on this.
Boots on the ground journalism. Let's check the Fridababy aisle and see if it really says anything about a quickie. Here's a thermometer. How about a quickie? This is literally real. And on this gas passer, the top, it says, tap that gas. Oh, and here's another one. This is the nose Frida. And on the side of the box, it says, I'm a power sucker.
So there you have it. A lot of people were asking if this was real on my last post about this, and it's real. Multiple sexual innuendos on products that are meant for infants, for babies, for children. And we should not be okay with this. But Fridababy has turned their comments off. Fridababy made a post that said, this is the closest your husband is going to get to a threesome in regards to a rectal thermometer. Why are we sexualizing the care of infants and children? We shouldn't be okay with this. And apparently I need to disclose that this is not commercial content. I'm not supporting Fridababy, clearly. I'm not getting paid for this video, clearly, because TikTok is trying to take my last video off the For You page, stating that I need to disclose it as commercial content. Even though I appealed it several times, they keep denying my appeal. But that's kind of weird, right? But we're sexualizing the care and the care products for infants and children now. That's the level we're at. Should we be okay with this? Because I'm not okay with this. I liked Fridababy. I liked their products, but I will never be okay with sexualizing products meant for infants and children. I'll never be okay with that.
So as an actual mom, as I am not a mom yet, I do just want to validate her feelings that like I totally like how creeped out you would be realizing all this was going on and then looking at the packaging and not really paying attention to the packaging and then looking on Instagram and seeing all this other stuff and then looking at your baby and just feeling like I've been using these products on my baby and now I feel gross. I think it, again, I don't want to speak for her, but it feels like these moms kind of feel a little violated is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. I do want to point out one thing that she was like talking about how TikTok took down her video because it had an undisclosed ad on it. And she was like, that's kind of weird, which to me, again, if I'm interpreting her video right, kind of implies that they did it because she's talking about Fridababy and therefore TikTok's tried to protect predators or like hide this, which I just think again is a stretch. I don't think that's the case. I think that TikTok just automatically sees when you're holding up products and showing them in a certain way, their AI systems are just going through and saying, hey, is this an undisclosed ad? I think that's all that's happening here because without listening to the audio, it does look like she's advertising for them. So I really do think that it's just their imperfect AI system that's probably doing that. I don't think there's much to be said about that.
Guys, Fridababy blocked me because I asked what in the Epstein is going on here. And you might be like, Bonna, why are you bullying a baby product company? 1, I believe it's my civic duty to bully companies that do dumb bullshit. And 2, they are putting sexual innuendos on products designed for children. I think this is fucking weird. And I think we should call it out. And if you're unaware, this is the kind of shit that they're posting on their Instagram. This is fucking weird. So I reiterate, Fridababy, it is 2026. What in the fucking Epstein is going on here?
That one I wanted to show because there's actual proof that they are blocking people who are asking about them. And I, again, don't know why brands think that the Streisand effect is not a real thing. Like doing anything like that is just going to bring more negative attention to you. Little wild. You're just making it worse. You're just making it worse. And pretty wild that they're doing that. Definitely not giving innocent. And then here's one more from a mom.
What you are saying about Fridababy is 100% real. And I forgot why I stopped using their products for my own kids, because I stopped using their products back in 2021. And I guess I just pushed it out of my brain so much that I forgot until this week. What you're seeing is real. Okay, Fridababy absolutely not only advertises their products with adult innuendos, but they also put those jokes on their baby care products. I cannot remember what it said on the box, but I bought the product that you use for babies when they're having a hard time passing gas and you put it in their rectum to help them pass gas. But I remember opening up the box and I forget what it said, but it said something on there that was just, it made me feel disgusting. It made me feel like I was about to be like harming my child just by using this product because of the joke that was on there. It made me as a parent uncomfortable to even use the product for my kid. So yes, it is real. And yes, it is that deep. Because what is funny about making a sexual joke or implying some sort of sexual innuendo on a product meant to help children get better? Where is the joke in that? Someone please fill me in.
Totally agree. And again, I just wanted to show you what the moms were saying and what some moms were saying. And I do think that's a really interesting take that she had, that she said, like, I remember I stopped using these because I felt gross. You know, I think that's totally valid. I think you feel how you feel. And like, if you see that joke along with then you're trying to take care of your baby and it makes you feel like they want you to associate what you're doing with your baby as a sexual innuendo or sexual thing, like making her, she said it made her feel uncomfortable, that they were like putting that in her head when she's literally just trying to change diapers, just trying to make it through the day as a new mom or as a mom. You know what I mean? Now, the reason I think that this is blowing up the way that it is right now is because it's the year of the files, because all that is happening. So everybody's under a microscope right now. Like everybody's kind of looking around to be like, all these people, I mean, some people we knew were horrible, but other people that we were like, that it was shocking that they're in there or that they're involved, and we're like, oh my God. So we're like, who's going to be next? And so I do think that this was terrible timing for the brand, but I think that the reason it's timed this way is because of the files, because that this will be known as the year of the files, mark my words. And I think it makes it worse for moms when it feels like people are not being held accountable for their actions. And so when we see stuff like this, it just kind of like furthers that. And I think right now we're really in this state as a society of feeling like people are doing these awful things, and because people are elite or rich, they're not getting held accountable for them. And so when things like this come up, it's even more enraging to people, because understandably, because it feels like this is just another, like, why is this happening so much? Like, what, feeling like this, it's this kind of thing that leads to the Epstein rings, you know, because it's like this normalization of putting sexualized jokes or sexualized things with children. And from that standpoint, I do understand that. I think if it was just the packaging, honestly, I don't know if we'd be talking about this today. The packaging is very inappropriate, don't get me wrong. How about a quickie on a baby product is weird behavior. But I think if it was just the packaging, I'm not sure that people would have noticed enough to make this into a whole viral thing. I think it's the social media posts on top of it, because now there's like media evidence of it. It's not just something in the store. It's something they're proud of. Like, it's something that they think is fine, and they just keep like spewing on social media as if it's a totally normal, like quirky, unique marketing campaign that like, that's just what companies do now. We're trying to get in with the cool kids, the hello fellow kids, like, aren't we funny and cool? What pushed me over the edge was that picture I told you guys about, that I showed you, of the baby with the thing on its face, and the pull out joke was just beyond. I just do not understand how that made the cut. I do not understand how somebody in the marketing team could look at that and post it on social media. So gross. I think my problem with that particular picture too is that the kind of person that we are talking about, the creepy person, the predator, the possible pedophiles, I think what really tipped me over the edge with that photo is that is going into what pedophiles are looking for online. As we've seen over and over, those kinds of people are looking for legal material that they can look at. You know, it's why so many moms and parents are taking their children off social media in general, because we've been tipped off to the fact that the wrong type of people are looking at innocent videos of our children, and they're looking at it in the wrong way. You don't show pictures of your kid in a bathing suit, even as innocent as it is to you. Like, of course it's innocent. There's nothing wrong with a kid going swimming with their mom, but posting that on social media, unfortunately, that's just where we're at. It's wrong, but we have to just accept that that's what it is. You can't just put your kid on there online like that, because that is the type of thing that predators are looking for, to skirt the laws. It's really fucked up, but that's just the reality. And so that particular picture to me looks like something that type of person would seek out and keep that. And it's legal, because it was posted by a random company. It's not on the dark web. It's not something they had to download. I'm sorry. That's disturbing, but that's the truth. That's what I think. That's why I have such a big problem with this. Now, as for the company itself, I also personally don't think that they are doing this from a pedophilia standpoint. I don't think that the marketing team is like, let's spray on children. I really don't think that. Let's read their response to somebody who reached out and with concerns about this. Here's what they said. Thanks for saying something. Frida has always used humor to talk about the stuff no one else wants to. Postpartum recovery, rectal temps, blowouts, the real parts of parenting. The goal is to make hard or awkward moments feel a little less heavy. That said, humor is personal. What's funny to one parent can feel like too much to another. We're never trying to offend, push boundaries for shock value, or make anyone uncomfortable. I call bullshit on that. You are 1000% trying to push boundaries for shock value. Come on. That's just a straight up lie. You don't post shit like this and then say it's not for shock value. The references you mentioned were written for adults. Our products are for babies, but our voice is for the grown-ups buying and using them. Still, your reaction matters. We really appreciate longtime supporters like you. I'm sorry that this changed how you feel about us. I'll make sure your feedback gets in front of the right team. Thanks again for taking the time to reach out. Amber with Frida support. Do I think that's a good response? No. I think that is kind of dismissive, like this person complained. Like, it is a little dismissive and a little bit like, well, you just don't get it. Sorry, it's just not your type of humor. And I do think that's really dismissive. And However, again, like I said, if people are making it seem like there's a group of pedophiles creating all this stuff for fellow pedophiles, and I honestly don't think that's what happened. I think they just missed the mark over and over and over and over, and they never got in trouble until now. They've been doing this for years and very few people anyway, said anything. And now that everybody's really mad and they're being canceled, it does make sense that they would respond like that when they're like, well, nobody else has an issue with it. Hey guys, I have a really quick update for you. So they posted this on Instagram after I filmed this video. And yeah, so we're going to read this together. So they posted a statement. They said, intention matters, impact matters more. A note from us, and it's a slide. It slides over to parenthood can feel like a standing ovation and a reckoning in the same breath. 1 minute you're awash in awe, and the next you're replaying a reaction you wish you could take back. You feel like a superhero and an amateur in the span of an afternoon. That tension doesn't mean you're failing. It means you care. And as any parent knows, when you realize you've missed the mark, you don't just move on, you course correct. You commit to doing better. We're holding ourselves to that same standard. This past week reminded us that intention matters, but impact matters more. When we miss the mark, we don't turn away. We listen, we learn, and we evolve. We are actively retiring select legacy assets and refining our tone, moving forward to make sure it always meets the moment. We will always be bold enough to tell the truth about what parenting really looks like, but we are also humble enough to know we are growing right alongside you. Parenthood is a work in progress. So are we, Frida. So first reactions, without reading the comments, my first reaction to this was like, I mean, at least they addressed it. I honestly wasn't sure if they were going to. I kind of thought they were just going to quietly delete everything and then just like let this blow over, you know? But I am like kind of low-key surprised that they even responded, and at least they said what they're going to do in the future, that they're going to stop using this ad campaign and that they understand, you know, that they missed the mark is what they said, and that they'll delete everything. But this isn't an apology though. Like, this is very, very vague. I don't like the vague language they use, that we're holding ourselves to that same standard. We missed the mark. Impact matters. We listen and we learn and retiring select legacy assets. Like, that's so vague. And part of a good apology is, first of all, actually saying you're sorry, but also being specific about what you're being sorry for, and not trying to sweep stuff under the rug, and not being specific about where you messed up. So I do feel like this isn't a great apology, but at least they're gonna stop this. but it's just because of the, like, let's be honest, it's because of the backlash. So reading some of the comments, as someone who works in a pediatric space and who did admire your products before I saw your latest marketing in which this vague post refers to, this does not feel like an apology. It's okay to flat out use the words, "we're sorry" in 2026. It's not a corporate faux pas. 1000% agree. Somebody else says accountability includes naming the mistake and saying sorry. Somebody says, where is the I'm sorry in this? And somebody else says, yeah, so no. What you all did isn't a work in progress. It was a choice. And instead of owning up to it, you just said, oh, well, we need a chance to do better. No, you should not have done this from the beginning. And literally nowhere did you say, I'm sorry. Crazy. And a lot of just other comments of people disappointed. And Fridababy also comments in their comment section, says, we meant it when we said that we are listening and growing, and we welcome your constructive feedback, but we also have a responsibility to keep this page a safe space. We have zero tolerance for hate speech or harassment. Those comments will be removed. Thank you for everyone who is helping us do better. Respectfully. It's giving sarcastic hand hearts. I don't like that comment. Again, I do agree with the like anti-Semitic comments. Those should be deleted. I do agree with that. That is just straight up hate speech. But this is kind of giving like, we've been getting death threats. Like, just again, giving deflection, giving like, we're the victims here, you know, we're the victims of this hate campaign. And while, again, I agree wholeheartedly with anybody commenting about the religion of the CEO is absolutely unhinged, is completely messed up and shouldn't even be brought into this conversation. Other than that, this is just giving like, feel sorry for us kind of thing. And yeah, so I don't really appreciate that. It's just not relevant. And I guess, again, at least they didn't put in the statement. But again, it just kind of, it's giving sarcastic hand hearts, in my opinion, of just like, kindly, fuck you all, you know? And so, I don't know. I have, like I said, I think this is better than nothing, but I don't think that this is a good apology or even an apology at all. And I think it's frustrating that they didn't like actually acknowledge why people were upset. They were just vaguely like, we won't do that anymore because you guys don't like it. Yeah. So anyway, okay, back to me. I think they did a terrible job. I think this is so inappropriate, but I honestly do think that they think that their intentions were pure. A lot of people don't look at social media and look at all the crazy shit. Not all of us are chronically online, like, you know, me. And so I see all this stuff and I'm like, predators are gonna look at that. And this seems more like serious ignorance or naivete. I think it also doesn't help that there's not parents on the marketing team. Maybe some of the men are, but it seems to be mostly women that don't have kids and then men. And so I think that also made a huge difference. I think they really, really fucked up with that. I think they should have had parents, because I bet if moms were on the marketing team, they would have been like, hey, maybe we don't do this. Hey, so I don't know, just a suggestion. So I understand that they want unique marketing. Like, unique marketing is all the rage now. And people are like, oh, what kind of Gen Z intern is working in your office and stuff like that. But why would you go this route? That really doesn't make any sense. There's so much unique, successful guerrilla marketing and just general marketing. Here's some examples. We've talked about this before, but Nutter Butter. Nutter Butter sales skyrocketed after this TikTok campaign that they did, that they made this weird, surrealist, creepy, where the hell are we, alternate dimension ARG for their TikTok for Nutter Butters. And everybody was talking about it. Loie Lane made a video about it and it paid off. They committed to it, even though it was a risky move, and it paid off. They made a lot of sales on that. Or have you like seen some of the Liquid Death ads?
I prefer small ones. Not like micro ones, but small ones.
Made fun of my buddy for having a small one, but then he let me hold it, and now I low-key want a small one too.
My husband's really into big ones. It kind of weirds me out. So I just sit in a chair and watch him and his buddies just go to town. Meanwhile, I'm just over here, enjoying a small one.
Now we have small ones.
The kinds of jokes that they are making would have worked for another company. They would have worked for another brand, a lingerie company, a sex toy company, or a relationship app, sex jokes, or like the let's talk about poop and the uncomfortable stuff when it comes to intimacy and our partners. Like those kinds of jokes on social media would work because they're aimed at adults. They're aimed at adults that are being intimate. Parents don't want to think about sex with their partner when they're looking at their baby and their baby products. The liquid death sexual innuendos works because it's not aimed at children. It's not a children's product or something made for to be used on children. But even if children did see the size matter ads for liquid death, it'd probably go right over their head. So it's harmless. The children wouldn't even realize what the ad's about. All right, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Have you heard about this? Have you heard about this? What are your thoughts? Do you think we're being dramatic here? And do you think that people need to stop, that this is like pearl clutching behavior, or do you think that this is completely inappropriate and weird? If you guys could like the video, that really helps me out a lot. Easy, free way to help out the channel. Or hype the video. I don't really know what hype means, but apparently it helps videos. So if you want to give me some of your precious hype points, I would appreciate that as well. Thank you again to Love and Pies for sponsoring. Get the freebies in the game by going to my link here. If you want access to the exclusive Not Safe for Work iceberg, we have that going on Patreon. Parts 1 through 12 are out. Part 13 is coming out very soon. Please read the details in the description before signing up. And that's where we're going to leave it for today. Thanks so much to all the top tier patrons on the screen right now. Special shout out to our newest top tier aliens, Faith Best, Jackson Kelly, and Audrey Darko. Thank you guys so much for joining, and I will see you all in the next one. Okay, bye.
The big ones always make me feel like I have to pee.
Fest hela dagen. Mjöl från livets grottekvarn.